I think there's a lot going on, and something that hasn't been mentioned is Hong Kong. And I think that's an important place to start. Because if you look at everything the president did on Thursday, yes, he put on the 10% tariff, but he also had a very interesting exchange, which should have been music to Xi's ears. He said that the conflict that's going on in Hong Kong is for China and Hong Kong to resolve. The U.S. wasn't going to get involved. And he also used the term riots rather than protests to describe what was going on. To me, that was Trump taking Hong Kong off the table as a roadblock to further negotiations. I think it had been a major roadblock until now. And
but Larry,
I actually think net, it's a plus.
So what you're saying is that Trump is acting sort of dovish on the Hong Kong issue, saying we're not going to intervene, it's in China's hands. If that's true, why are we seeing so much of this come to a head this afternoon? You know, so now we've seen Trump do the 10% tariff on China last Thursday. China's now saying it may put in retroactive tariffs on U.S. ag imports starting August 3rd, and it's going to stop them now. I mean, if he's giving them an olive branch, it doesn't sound like they're doing anything but throwing it back in our face.
Well, there's two things going on. First is a long-term geopolitical struggle, and the trade conflict is part of that. Let me address the currency issue. When you put a tariff on someone else, the natural response is for that other country's currency to go down. If you look at what's happened since the second quarter of 2018, when we first started this tariff process, we've had a 12% drop in the yuan relative to the dollar. If you include the 10% tariffs that just went on, we now have a 16% effective tariff rate on what's going on in China. So 3/4 almost of the entire tariff has been absorbed with a lower yuan. Now, when they cut their currency, they're making themselves poor. They are picking up the cost of the tariff.
Yeah.
If I were the president, I would actually, not mind so much. I wouldn't make such a big stink of this because it's a symbol that it's the Chinese who are paying his tariffs. And that's something that I think he wants to tell the public.
So do you take him...
And there's nothing he can do about it. Sorry.
Do you take him seriously then when he says, Federal Reserve, are you paying attention, and talks about wanting the U.S. dollar weaker in response? So, in other words, do you think... You're saying it's his fault that the dollar's gone up because it's just reacting to these tariffs. So do you take him at his word that he wants a weaker dollar? And if so, how would that happen? What would that look like?
Well, presidents always want, as do we all. Sometimes we want mutually contradictory things. But there's no question that the effect of a tariff is going to cause the other country's currency to depreciate. And that's what has been going on here.